boys and girls, Mrs. Antonucci here. I hope you are having a wonderful week so far. Today we're going to talk about how writers get ideas from other writers. I'm going to start off by reading one of my awesomely favorite books, Miss Nelson is Missing. While I'm reading, I want you to think in your head, what ideas are you getting from this author? What can you write about after reading this book? Miss Nelson is Missing. The kids in room 207 were misbehaving again. Spitballs stuck to the ceiling. Paper planes whizzed through the air. They were the worst behaved class in the whole school. "Now settle down," said Miss Nelson in a sweet voice, but the class would not settle down. They whispered and giggled. They squirmed and made faces. They were even rude during story hour, and they always refused to do their lessons. "Something will have to be done," said Miss Nelson. The next morning, Miss Nelson did not come to school. "Wow!" yelled the kids. "Now we can really act up." They began to make more spitballs and more paper planes. "Today, let's just be terrible," they shouted. "Not so fast," hissed an unpleasant voice. A woman in an ugly black dress stood before them. "I'm your new teacher, Miss Viola Swamp." "Where's Miss Nelson?" asked the kids. "Never mind that," snapped Miss Swamp. "Open those arithmetic books." Miss Nelson's kids did as they were told. They could see that Miss Swamp was a real witch. She meant business. Right away, she put them to work, and she loaded them down with homework. "We'll have no story hour today," said Miss Swamp. "Keep your mouths shut," said Miss Swamp. "Sit perfectly still," said Miss Swamp. "And if you misbehave, you'll be sorry," said Miss Swamp. The kids in room 207 had never worked so hard. Days went by and there was no sign of Miss Nelson. The kids missed Miss Nelson. So I already in my head am thinking of some different ideas that I have from this writer. "Maybe we should try to find her," they said. Some of them went to the police. Detective McSmog was assigned to the case. He listened to their story. He scratched his chin. He said, "I think Miss Nelson is missing." Detective McSmog would not be much help. Other kids went to Miss Nelson's house. The shades were tightly drawn and no one answered the door. In fact, the only person they did see was the wicked Miss Viola Swamp coming up the street. "If she sees us, she'll give us more homework." They got away just in time. "Maybe something terrible happened to Miss Nelson. Maybe she was gobbled up by a shark," said one of the kids. But that didn't seem very likely. "Maybe Miss Nelson went to Mars," said another kid. But that didn't seem likely either. "I know," exclaimed one know-it-all. "Maybe Miss Nelson's car was carried off by a swarm of angry butterflies." But that was the least likely of all. The kids in room 207 became very discouraged. It seemed that Miss Nelson was never coming back, and they would be stuck with Miss Viola Swamp forever. They heard footsteps in the hall. "Here comes the witch," they whispered. "Hello, children," someone said in a sweet voice. It was Miss Nelson. "Did you miss me?" she asked. "We certainly did," cried all the kids. "Where were you?" "That's my little secret," said Miss Nelson. "How about a story hour?" "Oh, yes," cried the kids. Miss Nelson noticed that during story hour no one was rude or silly. "What brought about this lovely change?" she asked. "That's our little secret," said the kids. Back home, Miss Nelson took off her coat and hung it in the closet, right next to an ugly black dress. When it was time for bed, she sang a little song. "I'll never tell," she said to herself with a smile. P.S. Detective McSmog is working on a new case. He is now looking for Miss Viola Swamp. What a great story. So boys and girls, writers get ideas from other writers. So now, once I finished reading and once you finished reading your book that you've read today, I want you to think about what happened in the story and think, okay, what can I write about? So this story, Miss Nelson is Missing, is all about their substitute teacher in school. So I am going to write about when I was sick as a teacher and I had to have a substitute come into my classroom. So, the first step of the writing process is generating and brainstorming ideas. So when we are generating, I always like to come up with a web. So here I have my idea that I'm going to write about that I got from my book that I was reading, Miss Nelson is Missing, and I'm going to put it in the center of my web. And then I'm going to write about the details that are related to the topic that I'm going to be writing about. So when I think of my substitute teacher, I had an opposite reaction to the kids in Miss Nelson's class. My substitute teacher was absolutely amazing. It was one of the best days ever. So my substitute teacher was funny and kind. We did a science experiment together. So I'm going to write science experiment. Because boys and girls, when it is time for generating or brainstorming, we don't always have to write incomplete sentences. We can just put a few key words that help us remember what it is that we were coming up with about our main idea. So my substitute teacher was funny and kind. We did a science experiment that was super cool. And let's see, what else can I say about my substitute teacher? The day went really fast. I remember thinking how fast the day went when I had a substitute teacher. Okay. So again, I'm going to come up with all these different ideas about my topic that I got my idea from the book that I was reading. Now notice, I didn't fill out my whole web, but I filled out most of it. So it's okay if you can't find a piece of information for every single web branch that you see. That's okay. So boys and girls, what you're going to do right now is with the book that you are reading at home, you're going to think, okay, what idea can I get from this book? Because writers get ideas from other writers. All right, happy writing!